Are you ready? The Cornelia Stephanie Show Lady Boss knows what women want: to be free to speak their voice, to live in financial freedom and build businesses that radiate wealth, leaving legacies we can be proud of. Every Friday, we bring you Lady Boss entrepreneurs that are changing the world. Diane Solano, the energy entrepreneur. Dana Terrio, handle the lump, heal your life. And Joan Sharp, changing the conversation from money to vision. See you Fridays. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cornelia Stephanie Show. I am with the energy entrepreneur, Diane Solano. Hi, Diane.
Hello, Cornelia. We meet again. First Friday of every month is actually a very exciting time for me. So I'm really grateful for this platform.
Yes, and I'm so excited about the show of what we're launching out with now come the spring equinox, which is right around the corner. And we're just really beginning in earnest now after releasing the old year, the old paradigm of completing all of those cycles of lack and all the things that we're done with. And now we're really fully stepping into, these are the notes that you created and what you wanted to talk about, and that is to dream big. And you say that the secret behind a success and business life is to dream big. And that's what we're going to talk about today, using the power and universal forces that are within us all. And we're going to shine the light and go more in depth about that, because so many of us, you know, we hold on and hold back of not wanting to really go all out and dream big. Just last night, I was with a group of women that were holding back, feeling ashamed of not really fully stepping into their true success, the meaning of they don't even know really what it means to them, and really fully stepping into their power. So today we're going to take inventory of all of those pivotal areas in our lives, so that when we decide that we're ready for that greater level of success, that we're going to turn our dreams into a reality. And you're also brought us a 21-day challenge, which I absolutely love.
You know what, Cornelia? It's an interesting thing. We come to this world. We are here on this platform to be the best version of ourselves. We're here to perform at our best, to be happy, to be vibrant, to be in joy. That is our true calling and our true essence. And it's something that the world deserves to have. And what's really challenging is we forget that we are allowed to dream big. You know, we start off as children with these beautiful imaginations, all these possibilities, and then we enter a system, you know, all the systems that keep us small, and we forget about that. We're put in a box. We're hardwired to work hard and not eat right and do all these, you know, motorized actions. And then we forget about what it's like to be given permission to expand and say, what does my heart really, really want? And unfortunately, it also has to do with the way our communities work, the way our life work. I mean, we come in and our systems they're not really of integrity. I mean, we don't have a true financial system that supports our well-being and our financial gain, right? We don't have a true healthcare system that is designed to support our overall longevity and health. You know, we look at all the agricultural system, the food system itself, you know, all these things are such political areas, and that's a whole other show, but we're robbed of our capacity to dream and expand when we're fighting hard to survive, because most of people are either fighting financially, they're fighting with their health, they're not expansive in their educational level, their personal health, and their food and their finances. All these areas keep us small and in control. So when we can start to create a life where we're just finding the joy, we start letting go of having to be in the box, that's when success starts to show up. Because unfortunately, we equate a success with having a lot of financial freedom. But how many people do you know have a lot of money but don't have time? How many people do you know that have a lot of money and don't have their health? I mean, success is not about money. Success is about your joy. It's about your vibration. What are you happiest having, doing, striving towards? And if financial freedom is something you want, then where can you find the joy in creating and attracting that, right? If it's health that you want, where can you find the joy in taking your power back, loving your body back to health, and getting into that momentum of success. Success is really about you looking on your life going, I feel delicious. I am expansive. I am excited. And I'm going to embrace the contrast that came into my life that made me understand that maybe, I couldn't pay my bills, but now being able to create a future where I can and thrive excites me. So it's also the balance of bringing in and embracing that contrast that many of us have experienced already and saying, what plan can I map out to start turning this ship around, getting excited about creating anything you want, because we are vibrational. That's why we always discuss, the energy behind everything that we do. And that takes us into business. It takes us into life. It takes us into relationship. And when we discover that power, Cornelia, it is amazing to be on this plane. It is a gift to be in our five senses and taste all these things that are tangible to us. And then we realize the capacity of our being, what we can go down the rabbit hole and really creating any possibility. So success really is about being expansive and dreaming big, and they work together and letting go of the little things that don't serve us anymore and reconditioning our minds, creating that new neural pathway, new ways of viewing the world and letting go of things that just don't serve us anymore. And then we all evolve.
Absolutely. And it's crucial that I just did a show just before this one where I talked about being our authentic expression and how important that is right now, and how important it is that we work on that self-healing and that really healing the conditioning of our past, so we can be done with that part. We can be done with that part, and that we can now move into then building our legacies, building our success models, that we can address the food issues, the problems that we have out there that really need to be looked at with, how are we as human beings, sovereign human beings, are going to, nourish ourselves going forward because of all the bad things that we've been trained and conditioned by. So that's a whole nother show. But you talked about a lot of things. And the one thing I wanted to say is the dream piece. Again, in the old world, we might have never thought that we can realize our dream and that we can live our dream. We didn't even, maybe not even know what our dream is. What is the dream? And now with this show and with this communication and with this expression, you're reminding us that we can live our dream life and that we can create our dream life, and that it's our birthright, that we came here to actually live it and experience it, because you are actually an example, a model, which we all need models. We need models of what that looks like. Because one of the things that was super, super important to you, Diane, and that is, as a single mom, you were struggling financially. You talked about survival. And for those listeners that are just tuning in, you were a single mom with raising your young son. I think he was less than he's less than 7 now, right?
Correct. So he's 9 now, but he was 4 at the time.
So yeah, and about a short 4 or 5 years ago, you ended up hooking up with Organo, and you ended up becoming a diamond wealth generator distributor and generating over $5 million in sales and growing. And that was what you said you wanted to sign up for, and you made that choice and you went all in. And because you mentioned the things, you said, what's your challenge? Is it health? Is it finances? What is the area that you're looking at? And so for you, it was finances. You really wanted to not do what's been done before, not struggle, not live based on the conditioning of the past. And you went and you sought out, you asked, and you hooked up with the right people that obviously were an answer to your prayer. As anyone that's listening to this show, this could be an answer to your prayer of what you actually needed to hear, what your soul is calling in. So where you came from, Diane, as a single mom struggling to make ends meet, to being a wealth generator, traveling the world, influencing and empowering people worldwide, this is what you're doing today. And so that is success, huge success.
You know what, Cornelia, when I hear it back to me in summary, I have to pinch myself going, wow, I actually did it and I'm doing it. Once upon a time, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to make ends meet? Waking up in the middle of the night, not knowing how I'm going to pay my bills, not knowing what I was going to do. I knew I needed a radical change. I wanted the freedoms, financial freedom, location freedom. I wanted, the freedoms that just make us expand. But my true ultimate freedom, Cornelia, was emotional freedom. Emotional freedom from a toxic relationship, not able to use my voice and my throat chakra from previous lineage, from childhood. There's lots of things that we're conditioned, hardwired subconsciously, and we all got to work through that. That was my journey. And I just decided I needed to know, again, through the coaching of one of my biggest mentors right now, Dr. Joe Dispenza, which I promise you one day we're going to have him on this show because he is a huge powerhouse changing the world. But I remember when he was doing his intimate workshops many years ago, he pulled me aside and he said, look, Diane, I need you to get clear on what you want because you're creating it. You're attracting it. You are responsible for everything that's happening in your life. We teach people how to treat us and we match the vibration of what shows up in our world. And you unknowingly are attracting these scenarios, conditions, and situations. So you may not know exactly what you want, but I'll tell you this, you got to know what you want to feel. And I will never forget that, Cornelia, because maybe some of us on this show don't know exactly what it is, but do you know what you want to feel? I wanted to feel free. I wanted to feel peaceful. I wanted to feel loved. And there was all these emotions that I was yearning for, looking for them in other people, places, and things when I had to find them in me and change who I was, practice metacognition, saw myself outside of myself, and then organo showed up in my life because I attracted that. See, it matched the frequency, the vibration I wanted. And it showed up and it allowed me to grow into leadership shoes, expand. It was a journey. It still is a journey. But, it's a blessing because I look back going, wow, I've impacted so many lives and it's been absolutely amazing.
And I wish there was somebody there that could actually pinch you right now. So I wish somebody could pinch you where you could actually have that experience, because here's the thing, it's so important. And I don't think we do this enough. Mm-hmm. And that is to really realize where we are and how far we've come. And the beautiful thing is you truly are. You know what the definition of success is. You were hungry and you said, I want financial freedom. So ladies and gentlemen, those that are on this call today, listen to these messages about what is it that you want to be free from? Where are you looking for freedom? And what does success mean to you? And what is your dream? And like Diane said, when her mentor, Joe, was talking to her about, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know, but at least get started with how you want to feel. And really how we want to feel, that is the healing that our bodies want to be in. Our physical bodies are designed to feel good, not designed to hold suppression and illness and disease in the physical body. That's what we're undoing. And that's that emotional freedom that you were talking about. But the other thing, Diane, about you is you said it. You wanted financial freedom. That was huge. Emotional freedom. And you also wanted to be receiving. You wanted to really practice receiving. And we talked about this before we got on the show today. You just had a birthday. And you had huge practice in receiving. And tell me, what was that like for you?
Interesting. Yes, we did start the show in talking about that, Cornelia. So it was my birthday a few days ago. And it's interesting because I'm so used to being the one in control, being the one that's holding the space for the room. We do a lot of events around the world. We do them on Zoom. We do them live. I have a team busting and bubbling all over the world, but including Toronto. I have a huge hub here of different distribution partners that have come in, and we coach and we teach and we lead and we inspire and we expand. And on Wednesday, when we're at our weekly hotel meetings and trainings, the room, I'm in the room holding the space, and all of a sudden the lights go down and a big cake comes out, and half the team comes out with gifts and catering. And I was just so overwhelmed with love, so overwhelmed with the love that I have shared from my journey authentically, empowering so many people, because I know every one of us has the truth within us. Every one of us holds a key. And all I want to do is shine light to say, hey, here is an option. Take whatever works for you. But you have a community and you have a team of players behind you to support you 100% of the way. And then to have that, a tsunami of love come back on me, I just didn't know what to do with that. And I remember sitting in the room going, Diane, you got to be in a space to receive this. Because if you're not going to receive it, what are you telling the universe? You're indirectly communicating something different vibrationally if you feel uncomfortable in this space. It's okay. Open up and receive, because we are cyclical. Everything is cyclical. What I give comes back. What sits in me resonates to other. I mean, we're not separate. So that was a true exercise, to sit still and just be open and receive it with a smile and not say anything and not apologize or do any of this.
Not give it back, not give it back, not give it back, feeling like you owe somebody something. But what you were experiencing, a lot of people, and we know that you are a pretty enlightened woman. You do a lot of different things, and you've got, you know how to work with energy. And so I just want to say that if a person like yourself was still feeling uncomfortable with being able to receive so much love, so much grace, so much celebration because the message, you left me a private message and you said, I've never felt so much more celebrated, so much adored, so much loved in my life. That's our birthright. That is our birthright, because that's exactly how our unseen angels, teams, masters, how much we are loved. And to have it happen for us in the physical, to have a physical experience like that is a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in, and it's like you said, you just had to sit there as a feminine being. You just had to sit there and receive. And because, like I told you, when we are givers, many of us are natural givers. It's so natural for us to give. And so we give, and when we give and we give and we give, we are in control of that giving. But the other person on the other end is the receiver, and that makes them vulnerable, because they now have to receive your gift. And some of them may going, wow, I don't know if I can receive this in. And that makes them very vulnerable. Now, imagine you being gifted with a tsunami like you were. So much.
Yes.
Tsunami.
A true tsunami, because it was a big room, at least over 60 people in the room, everyone singing. And then, they all had little gifts and trinkets and cards and flowers. And I'm like, OMG. And then, of course, there were the online platforms. And funny, everything came at the same time. I actually had an article came out, businessfromhome.org. They just did a whole spread on my story. Single mom, not being able, trying to get out of emotional stress, really not standing up for me because I didn't know how. And then when I realized it's all our birthright to be loved. And sometimes all our love and our expectation of love doesn't always have to go in the romantic relationship basket. There's many versions of love. There's self-love, there's sister love, there's universal love. It's so beautiful when you start tapping in and drinking from all these fountains that we forget exist. We're taught as little girls, we've got our Prince Charming, and no, we have us. And then Prince Charming can complement us if we feel that that's a fit.
Yeah,
that's our birthright, is freedom. Yeah. Freedom to choose and express our highest versions. And that's what it boils down to. Success is, what are you telling the universe? Are you receiving, Diane? Are you receiving? Anyone on this call, are you receiving love? Are you receiving respect? Are you receiving gratitude? Are you receiving expression? Because if we can't receive it, then we can't give it. And again, it's very cyclical. So success really is about that high vibration and just sitting back and also enjoying and being grateful for the moments that have already come by. Because many of us go through hardships and we forget how far we've come. So thank you for bringing that up, Cornelia, because I haven't turned around and looked back at the actual journey.
Yeah, and that's a really big thing, because we're so busy. We have so many things. And it's like, there's so much. So like, wow, if we really think about the truth, and I'm sure that, you listen to this with Joe, and this yourself too. And that is pretty much, all timelines, everything is pretty much now. It's all happening now. And so nothing from the past, that's an energy and a consciousness that exists, that we don't need to spend time there. We don't need to be in the future projecting into here now, and to really receive this now and create in this now, and to slow down and actually celebrate the the place where you came and really relish it and take it all in. Because this is the thing I see about you, Diane. I look at you and I could cry.
Oh,
I could cry because I see this amazing woman that you are. And you are a mother. And I can only imagine, what an impact you have on your son, not even on all the people that you are supporting out there in all the different things that you're doing, but just, the impact that you're making on your son and what a future leader on this planet, the young people are here to, to keep this earth going. And that he has such a mom like you that said yes to no more living in poverty, no more surviving and struggling, no more of any of these things, that I'm ready to build a better life for my son. I want that freedom so that you can spend time with him and be with him the way that you want to, according to your own life. So to me, I see you as such a huge model of success in so many areas. But again, being a mom, that in itself is a huge victory of what you're modeling to your son. And being a person myself that is inspired and also empowers other women to be their authentic expression of the truth of who they are, I have a vested interest in this. And that is, we all share the love for nature and the love for this planet and the love for our humanity. And to me, that is the true meaning of success.
I received that, even though that was so hard as well. You're making me emotional. Thank you, Cornelia. I knew what it was like to grow up with a mom that was never home. My parents are immigrants, and mom had a part-time job. So she would be home to cook during the day. We'd come home from school. She'd be gone at her job. She wouldn't come home till 9 o'clock at night. So if I got to see her at night before bedtime, that was a bonus. And then Saturday, she worked all day. So basically, I was raised by my father. I only saw her on Sundays. And I took in a lot of that male energy. And I had a father that was very variable in his emotion, not very emotionally available. So that heartedness was my journey. I had to work through that and the opposite gender. But nonetheless, I knew that I wanted to be around for my son. I knew I wanted to, even if I was busy and I was just like, right now I'm doing a podcast and he's having a great time playing. That's okay. In 1 hour, I close it and we get to go celebrate tonight. But he sees it's okay to work and work beside each other, but we're together. And we get to inspire each other. He still teaches me something every day. Motherhood is completely humbling. I'm evolving because they have changed too. And what really excites me, Cornelia, is I know what it feels like to be under the roof of someone else's rules.
Yeah.
Especially from my previous partnership, it wasn't fun to live in that vibration. It was not a vibrational match. He wasn't a terrible person. It was just, we had different ways of living the world and seeing the world. And everyone is free to live their authentic self. And his authentic self, my authentic self didn't work. I tried to become somebody I wasn't to please.
Yeah.
And I was robbing myself of that joy. And I know many women around the world are doing the same.
Yeah.
On whatever scale, if it's physical abuse, if it's emotional, if it's just sheer not happiness, whatever. We don't have to do that anymore. We can show up authentically and attract the right authentic partner to mirror who we really are. And I love this platform because I'm inspiring other women around the world. And the reason why I love the whole woman role is because we didn't have this freedom, 80 years ago. Yeah. And we didn't have these opportunities, 60 years ago. And now I have women in Africa, I have women in Latin America that are stepping into their power because we have a vehicle for them, because we have platforms for them, because now they can go online and find help or podcasts or Facebook groups or whatever it is. But we are vibrating, and you change a woman's world, you change generations, you change the way she thinks, the way she feels, that goes down the lineage. And we heal the lineage before us. Last night I was speaking to my in-laws and finding out about her mother and grandmothers, and I hear women's stories putting up with stuff, things, and feeling like prisoners of a life that they don't want for themselves. Yeah. We got to change that.
Yeah. And, gosh, you said so many things, Diane. It's like, man, the one thing I want to say is going back to you, like growing up in your household now, the household you're living in now, you and your son, he's in the other room. And feels good to be in charge, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Delicious.
Doesn't it feel good to be in charge?
It is so delicious. I go to bed at night and I'm so grateful. And I give gratitude for my home, my roof, my peace, and my freedom, and the joy of just letting myself be, because that's who I am. I can be, I can just be, have the freedom and the peace and the joy. And I just can't bask in it enough. I get so high on my own endorphins of the joy of being in the space now. And I dreamt of it. I saw it. I lived in it. I created a world for me before it actually happened. And that's part of our strategies that we're going to talk about today is how do you create your reality now before it actually manifests itself.
Yeah. And why don't we take a break? And so you and I can both refocus and recenter. And then when we come back, we're going to go into that strategy and that map. And then we're also going to talk about the 21-day challenge. But before we go, this whole thing about, you said it, about if you heal a woman, it heals the generations. If you empower a woman, it heals the generations back. I remember just recently you talked about being at your in-laws. I was, hi, there's your son.
There's my son.
Hi. We've been
hear you. I've got a headset on.
Your ears are ringing.
Oh, he can. You can? Great.
Yeah. So we, I was at my mom's, you were talking about being at your in-laws, and here was an interesting thing. So my mom was talking about, this is what she said. She goes, I just don't think that we're ready for a woman president, is what my mom said. I don't think we're ready for a woman president because I just don't see it. And so I listened to her. I really didn't say much. I didn't say anything too much about it. I just listened to what she had to say. When I came back and I sat with that energy and I looked at what is all of that about, I had this realization. Watch this. I realized that my mother was projecting her own energy. We're not ready for a woman president because in her partnership, she struggles sometimes with her partner and he doesn't listen to what she says. And so she's projecting because she's thinking a woman president, the masculine patriarchal energy, nobody's going to listen to women because she's having that experience in her home. And that's the point. So this is what I'm saying. Isn't that interesting how we project our energy out, that consciousness? And I'm here to tell you, we are ready for a woman president. My God, we're so ready for a woman president. It's ridiculous. But the point is, it's all in divine timing. But in the meantime, we're all presidents of our own homes. We're all presidents of our own inner domains and our own inner sovereign empires that we're building. And that's where it starts. So what do you think about that, Diane?
You absolutely nailed it. You nailed it because it has to start with us. We'll create that together, but it has to start with us.
Yeah.
And that's brilliant because we do match that subconscious programming again. It's her subconscious reality that she decided that the world works that way. But guess what? If she took ownership back in her home, found the courage to do so, or at least, allowed her daughter, sister, brothers, other women to start doing that too, we start creating that ripple effect, right? We come together as a united consciousness.
Yeah.
So it starts with us. And it starts in your home.
And that's why we're always having these calls and these conversations because, we need those models. We need models. We need to model what it looks like to be in our greatest self, in our empowered self, to be women in charge, to be on purpose, empowered, in our success, unconditional love, compassion, and all the different things that we're doing, and making millions and millions of dollars, damn it.
Absolutely, because it all is part of the joy of having and being the authentic self. It comes with that. And abundance shows up in many, many formats, whether it's paycheck, whether it's commissions, whether it's a gift, whether it's a beautiful discount. Like there's many ways of abundance that starts to roll in. We have to be aware of that and be in gratitude for it.
Yeah. Can you imagine receiving the gift? I would love to receive the gift of, just the donation of, a ton of money. These are all possibilities. These are all things that are there and that are open. We have to imagine that it's possible and we have to be willing to go anything can happen. It doesn't have to just be earned. It doesn't have to just be one way. There are so many ways. And that's the beautiful thing. I thank you so much, Diane, for bringing this wonderful dream big subject on creating our success, stepping into our dream life. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to go more into the strategy of how to do that now.
Perfect. Looking forward to it.
Tales from the Merworld with Amira Bath, exploring the mysteries of Atlantis and Lemuria, airing every second and fourth Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Tales from the Merworld Radio is a blend of mythology, theology, and ancient history, and Amira's own soul channelings. Are you ready to explore and validate the possibility that we are much more than our earth bodies? Amira Bath's Tales from the Merworld Radio holds safe space discussions for remembrances and memories of topics like multidimensional existences and simultaneous lives. Together, we will be raising our vibrations through stimulating conversations and the opening and releasing of the remembrance of our soul purposes for this incarnation. Join me, Amira Bath, for Tales of the Merworld Radio.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Living a richly abundant life sound too good to be true? Listen in to Richly Abundant Women with Julie Steelman on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Embrace a vibrant future of breaking free financially and creating a richly abundant life filled with prosperity and growth. To learn more about Julie Steelman and Richly Abundant Women, visit www.juliesteelman.com.
If you've ever had a broken heart, you know how painful that can be and how long it can sometimes take to heal it. I'm Megan Edge, author of The Heart's Journey, Healing Hearts, Oracle Cards, and Guidebook, published with Balboa Press and Hay House. In The Heart's Journey, I share with you my own heartbreak and how I healed it through the beautiful hearts that found me in nature. From taking photographs of these hearts for myself, I've created this beautiful toolkit, which includes the guidebook, which has my story, how to work with oracle cards as a healing tool, and the story of each of these hearts as they cross my path. I've also created a beautiful journal. There's a pen, a bookmark, and of course, the 42 Healing Hearts oracle cards. You can order The Heart's Journey, Healing Hearts, Oracle Cards, and Guidebook through my website, meganedge.ca, through Balboa Press, Amazon, and many other places online or your local shops. I look forward to hearing about your heart's healing.
We are back, and we are talking with Diane Solano today, and we're talking about how to map out your strategy for success. And Diane is going to now tell us about how to create our roadmap to success. And where do we begin with that?
You know what, Cornelia? I had a great time this week. I've always been a fan of mentorship. I think who you hang around, who you relate to, was going to impact your world. Always. I can tell who somebody is based on who are the top 5 people they hang around. And sometimes the people we hang around aren't necessarily our friends or our neighbors. They could be what we're listening to as well. You know, I love to listen to a lot of Jim Rohn. I love to listen to a lot of Eric Worre. These guys are in my podcast. So sometimes when I'm driving, this is who I'm associating with, right? Whether it's, Bob Proctor or some beautiful sages of wisdom. Mm-hmm. I think that's super important for our world to keep us in expansion, because if we're not growing, we're not expanding. Mm-hmm. So that to me is huge. But really, this week I had a chance to, actually for the past 2 weeks, I've taken on a high performance coach who I've met through the business model, who said, look, Diane, you know what, can we do some coaching together? You know, he's got some great templates to work with. And I'm always a big fan of, hey, you know what, if the universe is gifting me this high performance coach that came by my world and is getting some great results, let's go for it. And I've been having a great time with him because we've been talking a lot about focal points. And I realized that as much as we want change and as much we have this general idea in our brain about what we want to accomplish, but if we don't have it written down into focal points and getting really clear in certain areas that are going to impact our vibration and our well-being, then we're going to have a harder time creating success.
Yeah.
And one of those areas that we discussed was, hey, how do you take a high performer and get them up even higher? So this is great for anybody on the call who has, maybe this is your first time dabbling into some, self-awareness and wanting to take it the extra mile. Welcome aboard. You can do this. And this might work for someone who's already a high performer, like myself or you, Cornelia, where we're around a lot of high-performing individuals, successful people, great strategies we've already tried. But this can narrow it down a little bit. So one of the 4 areas he talked about was having clarity. Now, that one was pretty obvious, but some of us just don't take the time to get really clear on what we want, what we don't want, or what we want to feel. And those 3 areas are super important to get clarity on. Huge, because I always tell people, look, it's like taking a vacation. If you want to be at a destination, you got to pick the destination first. You want to go to Cuba? Do you want to go to Aruba? Do you want to go to China? You got to figure it out where you want to go, what you want to do. So then you can book your airline ticket. You can book your hotel room. It's the same thing in life. You got to have clarity. Where do you want to be, a year from now? Who do you want to become? Are you clear on who do you need to become as a person, professionally and personally, to have that level of life that you want to play in, those waters you want to swim in? Remember, anything you can create, anything's possible. It's all there for the taking. Then what is it that you want? And some people don't even have that clarity. So another good question to ask yourself is what I don't want to feel anymore. And sometimes it's the opposite that you're looking to attract. So clarity is a very big, important area. I say if you're a listener on this call, ask yourself, what areas do I need clarity in? And the second question to ask yourself around clarity is why? Why do you need clarity in organizing, your home and organizational skills? Why do you need clarity? You got to ask yourself, why is it that you're seeking clarity in that area? Because sometimes you'll get some really good feedback about what's not working.
Yeah.
So
and when you ask the why, that's going to, inspire you into action, because the why is going to help you to identify a deeper level of the call of to how that's going to serve you, and it's going to help you move into action. Would you agree with that?
100%. And the why is peeling back the layers behind the behavior, right? Like for me, I wanted clarity on, having a healthy relationship. Great. So I wasn't in a healthy one, but why? Oh, was I trying to please? Was I trying to seek love in areas that, I needed to heal my inner child first? You start really getting radical honesty with yourself. If you get nothing from this call, but you just are radically honest with you, really hard to the core, even though it doesn't sound good, if you become radically honest with yourself and having that inner mirror, you can get some really deep answers, because we all hold our answers within. We just got to ask the right questions.
Perfect.
Just got to ask the right questions. And clarity is around that too.
Yeah.
The other area he talks about is energy.
Yeah.
And I did this for a living, 20 years in health and wellness, nutrition, lifestyle. That was my thing, because if the physical vibrancy isn't there, your goals and your ability to execute is going to be impacted.
Yeah.
That I lectured on for years. Bodies are really honest. They are our vehicle to help us create the life we want. And if you're battling exhaustion, if you're not sleeping right, if you're feeling lethargic, if you're not digesting well, if you're not moving your bowels effectively, if you've got headaches coming right, left, right, and center, if you're winded going up a flight of stairs, your performance in life is going to be impacted, because high energy, high vibrancy, they go hand in hand. Yeah. Success goes with good energy. And really, you're going to have to look at, what current level of energy do you have, and where area do you need to improve on that energy?
Yeah.
Do you need to bring it up more? And what do you need to stop doing to create more energy? Like maybe you got to go to bed earlier. You got to get that done. Maybe you need to clock out and do some meditation to kind of calm down those high beta wavelength stress hormones. This is the area that's really important, is getting energy. Do you have to eat right? Do you need to talk to a professional doing detox? I don't know. Do you need to lose 50 pounds, 10 pounds? But nonetheless, we need to get that energy back so we can start dialing in and, again, creating a roadmap to success and dreaming big. It's hard to dream big. Many of us have had a cold. When you have a cold and you don't feel well, you have a sore throat, and you can barely breathe through your nose, it's kind of hard to dream big. You're so busy trying to battle the physical body. So we need to take care of that, because that's a huge one in high performance for sure. Courage is another one. We need the courage to step up into life. We need that courage to also ask ourselves, what are we backing away from out of fear? Where do we need more courage to start seeking the dreams that we want and finding that confidence within? Courage is a big one. A lot of us are held back because of the fear of failing, the fear of judgment, the fear of not being good enough. But these are areas, focal points, that if you're on the call today, take a piece of paper. Where do you need clarity on? Take a piece of paper. Where do you need more energy on? What areas? What do you need to do to feel more energized? What do you think would help you bring you there? And then, of course, what area in life do you have to have more courage in? And then ultimately, productivity. Right now, productivity, technology is a double-edged sword, because technology is there to design to help us become more productive, but it's also created a lot of distraction. So I'm just as guilty of this, where I go into my Facebook to send a message, and then all of a sudden, whoop, I get carried down a river of other things going on. And then all of a sudden 10 things fell on my plate. So the question is, what do I got to do to be more productive? Do I need to shut the phone down for an hour? Do I need to, maybe outsource? That was a big one for me at this phase in my life.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be doing the small micromanaging things. It's taking control of my productivity. I can be better served doing something else. And then now outsourcing the cleaning, the snow removal, the shopping, that's all part of being high performance. So if you're on this call and this is new for you, look in your life and say, hey, what can I outsource, or what can I get the family to participate in doing? If you are a high performer, what can you dial it down even further and create more of that action productivity area that you're good at to create more revenue, if that's what it is that you want.
Yeah.
But you got to find out where you got to be more productive. So I say, number one of the areas we got to do is break it down. And then that can start pivoting our way to actually doing the challenge. See, we can't do a 21-day challenge without clarity. We can't do a 21-day challenge if we're not going to sit, eat right, sleep right, and repair, because that's going to counter-react what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ask you, when you're on this call, when you're listening to the replay later, is pretty much 10 minutes ago when Diane started breaking down the roadmap to get the clarity, sit down and, stop and pause this podcast, stop and pause and listen and get the questions. Get the questions again, the questions to ask yourself, so that you can really be strategic with all of this. And I want to add to saying that distraction is the number one dream killer. It is. And the thing about it is that, everything revolves around strategy. And like you said it, when you go on Facebook, you can get pulled away. And so when I go on Facebook, my strategy is I go at a time when it's almost like it's planned. Like I'll go for specific things and only that, and then pull out. I pull out, not, it's like, no, because otherwise what happens is that the energy is then leaked, and, and now it's going to go somewhere else. And when you are a real true success model, you are fully 100% so dedicated, so committed to your success that you won't let any interference take place. But that requires the discipline, right?
100%. And the discipline is everything. The distraction is a very big one for all of us. Mm-hmm. And really dialing in on those focal points. And I like what you said, Cornelia. It's a lot to digest. So you're right. Pause, make your list. Remember the 4 areas: clarity, energy, courage, and productivity. Yeah. Very important areas. You got to give yourself permission. You got to get clear. Once you do that, you got to pick an area. So now we're going to funnel into the success challenge, right? It's all about the joy. Underlying between all these topics, success is about joy. Happy, joyful. What are you doing every day on a daily basis that's making you happy? We all got to be dialing into something that's really, really making us feel expansive and a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And then we got to determine what areas we want to start bringing more success in. So I like to break it down. Is it going to be in the area of financial? Is it going to be in the area of relationship? Is it going to be in the area of health? Because those are the three relationship, financial, and health tend to be the three areas that most people have some level of stress around.
Exactly.
And without having a success plan in action, we're going to have a hard time getting there. But even more challenging is if we don't start creating a new reality before it's made manifest, before it's actually in 3D form, we got to start living in it. We got to start calling it in. We got to raise our vibration around that.
Yeah. And I know, like, for instance, for you and I already know that your and my focus is our financial legacy, our financial blueprint. Not to say that the other things don't matter too, relationship and health, that's true. But the main focus is really to build the financial empire and generate that income that is going to offer us the freedom that we're looking for, that we're signed up for. That's, I know, yours and mine work that we are doing. So it's really cool when you know that about each other, not only as colleagues but as friends. So when you know, like, you know it about yourself, like Diane knows it about me, and I know that about her, and it's like, I know what her focus is. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it. And that's how we can support each other. It's the same way if you're going to go to the gym and work out, you have a partner to help you, support you, and work out, an accountability partner, like you talked about, a coach, a mentor, somebody that is holding you to the bar high. The bar is high. And yeah, the bar is high because we're going for the best, the highest and best as you're building your new world.
Absolutely. And that's exactly it, Cornelia, is we need to raise the bar. So when we realize what department we want to work on, now we can create a consistent habit every day, twice a day, morning and night. Even if it's just 1 minute before bedtime, I'm a big fan of visuals. Visuals are huge for me. Most people can relate to that. I've had a couple people on the team where they're having a little, wobbly moment. And I'm like, go on Pinterest. I need you to pull out all the photos that get you excited. If it's travel, pull those out. If it's a beautiful relationship, pull out photos of that. Right. If it's pick the area, healthy eating, healthy sleep, I need you to pull out the photos on that. If you are a scissor and paper girl, because I still fall in that category, I actually, believe it or not, I still make actual Bristol boards of pictures and magazines and words. I have this huge white, $1 at the dollar store. I have clippings of Oprah. I have clippings of some charities for empowering women. I have words and power words of, being a philanthropist, being a daughter, being a true mother, being a power woman, changing the world. Like that, to me, that feeds my soul, because this is what I'm feeling is the next wave. That's my purpose. That's what
it's your model. It's your model. It's like it's drawing you in, like it's the mirror effect. That's
yes. And that's exactly it. So everyone on this call needs to build a model. If you want to do the Bristol board thing, if you want to do the Pinterest, photo thing, if you want to do a mind movie, I've done all three. So I have the boards in my room, I have Pinterest on my phone, and I've got my mind movie ready to go. And we need you to dial in twice a day, every day on that. I've changed my world. Look at it for yourself. Play it with some music, the same song ideally. The same song, because when you're driving and you don't have your boards and things around you, but you put on that song, it's going to take you back to that space. See, the brain doesn't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
So we're going to create the reality first. So when your brain goes there and lives in that space, there's something called the reticular activating system that's going to start attracting the coincidences, which aren't really coincidences, because your vibration, you're undoing what was an old programming, you're creating a new one. But you got to be consistent. You got to do it every day for 21 days and be open to magic showing up, because the right people, circumstances, things now start to come into your world. So do one around relationship, do one around health, do one around finances, but do one and dial it in every day. With the financial one, there's another exercise. I love it. I've talked in it on previous podcasts, and I urge every listener, maybe even yourself, Cornelia. I love the $1,000 day challenge, Abraham Hicks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love that challenge. I still do it until today.
Yes, that's a fantastic one.
It's such a good one for finances.
Take an old checkbook and just start writing checks for $1,000. It's fantastic.
It's great. I love the one where every day she has to spend $1,000 and it grows by 1,000 every day. So today I spent 1,000, tomorrow it's 2, the next day it's 3. And it sounds like an easy thing to do. And maybe your first 100K is, but then afterwards, watch what comes up for you when you have to spend it all.
Yeah, because you've already purchased all these things and you've already spent $100,000. You've already got all the things. Now what are you going to do? It's like, what are you going to spend the money on now? And now then it takes you more into philanthropy and buying islands, airplanes, and all kinds of things.
But here's the beautiful thing about it is that you will be surprised at your own subconscious programming when you feel like, oh, I shouldn't do that because, or what else do I do? Because we have this scarcity mindset. It is so deep in so many people that when that comes up, it's like, wow, what is coming up for me and what do I got to work through? And I got to muscle through this. I got to live as if there's $60K in the bank right now and I got to spend it. I got to live as if I have to deal with $500,000. What am I really going to do with that? What am I really, really going to do with that? Start looking at the different charities if that's what you're at. But guess what you're doing? You're living in the future as if.
Yeah.
So don't expect to win $1 million overnight if you don't know what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
You are going to change as a person in this exercise.
Yeah, and no expectations. Don't even expect anything. Just let go of the expectations and just let yourself be surprised, right? And have a good time. I love that you keep bringing the joy into it. I want to let the audience know. So here's an idea I just had. It's one of those things, I'm the idea lady.
I love it.
The visionary. So one of the things I'd love for you all to do is when you're watching this video on YouTube, rather than sitting down and making the list on your own, type the list into the chat. So basically what Diane asked us to do at 30 minutes into the show where she started talking about the roadmap on how to get clarity, will you type it into the chat so that everyone else that comes after you has everything already written and that they can see what we're supposed to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Would y'all do that? Would someone take that on and do that? We would appreciate that if you typed it into the YouTube video. The other thing that happens when you type it into the YouTube video and when you comment on the show that we do, here's what happens. You see how important this vibration is and what we're sharing. This content is free. We're sharing this content free with all of you. Every time when you hit a like or share on a comment on YouTube, what happens? It creates an algorithm, and then that video gets sent to other people that are looking for success models, that are looking for those mentors, that are looking for that. And so we're challenging you now for the next 21 days to talk to us in the chat, in the YouTube chat, and tell us what category you've chosen and what your challenge is going to be. And we're going to contact you on our next show, and we'll communicate and talk to you because we really want to see you succeed. Right, Diane?
I love it. I love the participation. I love hearing the feedback. I love hearing the stories. That's exactly it. The transformation stories, people on their way, the coincidences that show up, even the feedback. It's like, wow, I really had a hard time doing that. What came up for you? Feelings are feedback. Understand that there's something deeper there that we got to unravel. We're all in the work together. We're all at different phases of it. So why not associate and try things outside the box? You've got nothing to lose.
You've got everything to gain. You've got everything to gain. And the thing about it is, I just read the other day that in order for people to make decisions today about what to opt into and what not to opt into, because of all the information that's being shared, 17 times, sometimes people have to see the same thing over and over again before they opt in. 17. So that's why this video needs to be shared over and over and over again, so that it just so that it doesn't just become an inspiration, but an actualization of how to create your roadmap to success and dream big. Diane Solano, Energy Entrepreneur, thank you so much for being with us. The first Friday of every month. March forward, spring forward. Thanks everybody for listening, tuning in. Sign up for the 21-day challenge and share with us on YouTube. Thanks so much. Thanks, Diane.
Thank you, Cornelia.
Listening to the Cornelia Stephanie Show, Lady Boss, Women Inspiring Women, featuring leading-edge entrepreneurs who are putting the focus on empathic leadership in today's modern-day world. Text the word Cornelia to the number 22828 and receive her weekly newsletters. For more information on Cornelia Stephanie and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to corneliastephanie.com.